Hi everyone, so I'm here today to talk about this foundation. It's the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation. The shade I have is 12 Fair Warm, which is the palest yellow undertone foundation. I had picked this up along with the About Face foundation. This was half off with the Ulta. It's 21 Days of Beauty, whatever. Oh my god. And someone had asked about it, so I wanted to pick it up. And I got this at the same time. Turns out they're super similar color-wise, and there was some interest in the e.l.f., but I am gonna do a video on this one as well. Before I start talking too much, I'm sweating, I'm still sick, but we're doing it. Let's take a look at the swatches, see how it compares to other stuff in my collection. All right, so swatches. I just wanted to include something that was not a yellow undertone so you could see kind of comparison how yellow these are. So this is the Maybelline Skin Tint in 102 Fair Porcelain. So it's more of peach versus yellow. This is the e.l.f. Soft Glam in 12 Fair Warm. This is NARS Sheer Glow in Siberia. Look how similar they are. Really, really similar. This is the About Face foundation in F1 Warm. Tiny bit different from Sheer Glow. All three of these are so similar. This is the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra in 95W. When you first get this out of the bottle, it looks a lot lighter, and it gets like maybe a full shade darker just in the first few minutes. So that's why it can be a little bit surprising in swatches. I do try to give it a second to do that color change. Once it has transitioned here, I don't find that it gets darker through the day, but it's just kind of a heads up if you're wondering why it looks so dark. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear in 390 Snow. For something a little bit lighter but still yellow undertoned, this is the MAC Studio Fix in NC5. This is the new NC5 as opposed to the original NC5, which is actually darker than NC10. This is the NC5 that is lighter than NC10. And lastly, since I include it in most of my swatches, this is the Estee Lauder Double Wear in 0N1 Alabaster. It is also a little bit on the more yellow side and a little bit paler than the rest of these. I was really kind of surprised how similar both of those options were to the NARS. And what's really nice is, you know, at least as far as colors go, it's another drugstore option that's kind of in that color family. There aren't pale shades that are a yellow undertone, are not the most common. Things tend to be a little bit more neutral or cool undertoned, but there are more and more options available. So it's really nice to have another drugstore option to go to. The L'Oreal Fresh Wear, I really, really like this formula. It does have alcohol in it, so if you have, you know, very sensitive skin, it might cause issues. It has fragrance, I think. Does it? Can I smell anything? Yes, it does have fragrance too. So it's got a couple ingredients in there that are not necessarily going to be great if you have sensitive skin. So something like this might be formula-wise a little bit better for you with a very similar color. So I'm 44 years old. I have kind of combo skin. I have dry cheeks, T-zone's a little bit more oily. It's acne prone. I do use Differin, so there's a tendency for things to be peeling. I have a certain type of dermatitis around like underneath my lip, around my nose, and up at the underneath my eyebrows. I have more noticeable pores. I have, you know, more lines and just kind of like sagging skin because I'm getting older. And makeup, just foundation, generally does not wear very well on my face. It doesn't sit very well on my face. The oil on my chin tends to like break down foundation in a really patchy way for a lot of formulas. Kind of high maintenance when it comes to foundation. So when this applies, as you can see in the demo, it looks so pretty. The foundation finish itself is really, really pretty. I put on like a very, very light layer of moisturizer, and then I used this Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen. This is one of my favorite things to wear underneath makeup. I tried it, the first time I tried it, I wore it over top the e.l.f. Wow Glow, which I do really like with other formulas. This plus this formula, which is not I mean, it says it's long lasting. Not long lasting on me over this especially. It's not a long wear formula that I am accustomed to. I'm accustomed to things that like kind of set more and hold up to water better. This one does not do that. It wore, when I had, my eyes were watering and I had this underneath this, and I had the e.l.f. Halo powder. It just ate through the foundation when my eyes were watering. I tried it again with this and my go-to favorite setting powder, the NARS Light Reflecting Setting Powder Pressed. I have a little itty bitty one. I've gone through like 3 full-sized ones of these. I go through them very quickly, but it works really well. If anything, it adds a little bit of white to my face. It doesn't make it darker. Some setting powders do, like that Halo setting powder I think does, if I'm generous with it, it tends to make my face a little bit darker. So anyway, I got better wear with the Supergoop plus that NARS setting powder. I still felt like with my eyes watering, it was still kind of, you could see the line. It wasn't as bad. It wasn't like eating all the way through. I don't have a lot of foundations that do that. I would say the majority of my foundations can hold up to my eyes watering a few times, you know? Like if you're like full on crying, like 20 minutes of water running down your face, a lot of foundations that aren't like water resistant, I think will have a hard time with that. But at least just a little bit, kind of incidental. Most foundations in my experience that I wear don't have a problem with that, just because I am so prone to sweating, and I think that I can do things to make it hold up better to sweat, but it's just like, it's not, out of the gate, it's not one that's gonna hold up to sweat very well. I like the color, I like the finish, so pretty. It wears okay. It definitely is very tacky, and I have to set like my whole face with powder. I'm very tired. I'm always very tired. So throughout the day, I do have to lie down periodically, and I don't want my foundation, worrying about my foundation coming off on a pillow. That really bothers me. So I really dislike something that's gonna just very incidental like contact is going to transfer. Like the whole eye watering thing, most foundations in my experience can hold up to gently placing my face on a pillow without having to worry about it coming off. This one, I definitely had it come off my chin. It just doesn't hold up on my face with what I'm doing with my face. Quick update with the Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen, the NARS setting powder, and the Skindinavia setting spray, I can get it to not transfer and hold up to light sweat and watery eyes. So there are 2 other shades that are on the same kind of lightness level, I think, with different undertones. There's a cool undertone and a neutral undertone. So there's something that looks a little bit more kind of like pinky clay almost, and then there's something a little more peach, and then there's this one which is a little more yellow. And this isn't like a perfect match. My neck is lighter than this, but I tend to go a little bit darker on my face. My face is like 2 shades darker than the rest of me due to the like redness and the freckles and everything. So I'm trying to get my face closer to my neck, but if I go like exact match on my neck, sometimes it can look very stark and harsh, I think. So I do tend to go like half a shade, maybe a shade darker than my neck. I wear light to medium coverage, and I do kind of blend it down a little bit. But this is definitely like, this is a good color. For those of us out here with the pale skin that have yellow undertones, super jazzed to have another drugstore option. I wish the formula was something that worked on my face better, but it is very pretty, and for other skin types and, you know, configurations, I'm sure it wears nicely. It's just, you know, my face is picky. The way I use my face, high maintenance. Okay, so hopefully, should we zoom in? I guess we can zoom in. Since I am still sick, I do have some peeling on my nose. That's just my nose peeling from blowing it all the time. So I think it's sitting actually quite nicely. This is definitely a problem area. I have like some of the dermatitis right here in that corner of my mouth, and I've got like a crease and a line, and it's just like a challenging area for foundation. And a lot of foundation looks really rough in this area, and this actually looks pretty good. So I'm happy about that. Try to see if it's creased at all up here. Maybe an itty bit. I don't have many lines on my forehead. So it might have just been that I didn't like tap out the crease before I set it. So yeah, I think it is very pretty. I love the shade. I just don't love the formula, and so I think that's potentially a good sign for other people. So if the formula works for you, I think it might be a really good fit. Let me know if you've tried it. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know below. I always love hearing from you all, and I hope you're having a good one, and I'll see you soon.